Well, hello, viewers, and welcome to today's segment. My name is Rosemary Zembi, and this is the Rosemary Zembi Show. And we are talking with one of the ladies that I have found to be very, very fascinating. And I would like to, just bring her on board to share her journey, her career journey that has brought her to probably one of the most celebrated female mechanics in our country and maybe in our continent, quite honestly. Her name is Miss Rhoda Iredi. Miss Rhoda, I would like before we go too far, for you to introduce yourself to our viewers and tell them exactly what you do, which I find quite fascinating. And then I will delve into it and really I'm hoping that today we can educate and liberate a few people, which is what this platform exists to do, is to educate and liberate people to live their life to the fullest. So please, if you could introduce yourself.
So, Rosemary, I'm Rhoda Iredi. I'm a mother and I'm a professional mechanic. Yes.
A professional, that's a key, a professional mechanic. So she's not just trying something. So, Miss Rhoda, tell me, how did you end up, because I mean, I've owned a car for several years and I have noticed that there are so many different tools that mechanics hold and do, but I've never had a woman work on my car. But the other day, as you were telling my producers, how how you've come to embrace this. You've fed your children, you've educated your children with this career as a woman.
Yes.
And I'm imagining that you saying you've done it for the last 35 years. I think, and I'm sure that my viewers would be excited or delighted to know how the journey has been like. How did you, first of all, get into mechanics? Is that what you dreamt about as a child? Did you have a dad who was a mechanic? Did you have a big brother who was a mechanic? Did your guys own a garage? How did you end up in this? Because this is not a conventional career for women, especially in our society.
I think for those who are Christians, we'll know in the Bible there is a verse that says God will direct your steps.
Look at me.
You know that?
Yeah.
God will direct your steps.
Yes.
So when I was around, I was in standard 4-5. My uncle used to visit us on a motorbike every Sunday in afternoon. So every Sunday, after church, I would stand outside and wait to hear that loud noise of a motorbike, and I would know my uncle is on the way. Of course, when uncles come home, they come with goodies.
Yeah, right.
So that also was
your favorite uncle.
So every day I would ask myself, where is this loud noise coming from? From this small thing. Where is it originally coming from? Yes, it is coming. I can hear it from behind here. But where exactly?
So you are very curious.
Yes. Every day I would do that, every Sunday. At that time I was in standard 4-5. And I'm a standard 7 product. And that school previously, those many years ago, used to be for Briton kids. So you realize,
it was British.
Yes.
Wow.
And I salute our government because of this CBC. Those kids are taught so many things when they are still young.
Yes.
And they don't say this is a woman, this is a man. They don't have that.
Yes.
So that in that school there were these engineering courses in any facilities. So there was we used to call it wood workshop, but it's for carpentry.
Right.
There was mechanical engineering workshop. There was electrical engineering
in a
workshop.
high school.
Yes.
Wow.
And
I guess that's a challenge that our system should, embrace.
It was a national school. I should be proud. I did well in standard 7.
National school,
Yes,
and as we speak about CBC, right?
Yeah. So and there was mechanical workshop.
Right.
And the principal was a Mzungu. The headmaster then was a Mzungu. The school was mixed. Akaburu, in fact, we used to call him Akaburu. So when I went in Form 1, we were told that we were now being introduced to these courses. Remember what I said at the start, that I really used to wonder, where does this noise come from?
Right.
So my steps were directed to the place that will teach me where this noise will
come from. You didn't even know that.
I didn't know.
And your parents probably didn't even know.
No.
Uh-huh.
So when I went to that school, I studied the mechanical, electrical, woodwork, that is carpentry.
Right.
And I proceeded up to Form 4. Form 4, I sat automotive exam, automotive magari.
Wait, you would
Yes.
sit an automotive
National exam.
at Form 4?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But you were only doing science subjects and then the technical part. So
Is that for people that were interested in automotive?
Yes.
Engineering?
But there was
Okay,
one
got you.
class out of
Right.
4 streams that was doing these other courses.
Okay.
So when we finished, I went home. After 1 year, I saw an advert on a newspaper that there's a certain college that needs youths. In fact, they had written men, young men, to be trained as motor vehicle mechanics. So my sister, my old firstborn sister, who used to pay my school fees, I took that cutting and I told her, look at this. She told me, this is good for you, Rhoda. Please try. And it took me 3 days because when they write a boy, I'm a young man, then where is the woman?
Yeah, and you know you're not
And
a boy.
I'm not an ordinary
So you're already
woman.
disqualified.
Yes.
Right.
But I said I'll try. I pray that they won't see the other name, the lady's name. And I applied. The last day when those letters were supposed to reach the college, I applied and it reached. So after like 3 weeks, I got an invitation for interview. So I told my sister, God, they didn't realize that I'm a woman. Told me, yeah, you go. Then I went. And I remember when I reached that college, I had real hell with the security at the gate because they asked me, where are you going? I told them, I've come for interview. Then they told me, interview? For what? I told him, I want to be trained in this college. They told me, no. We have never had a woman in this college all those years. So I think umepotea. Then I looked at that man. I told him, please allow me to go in. And then if it is wrong, I'm on the wrong path, then these guys will tell me. So one askari intervened and I was allowed in. So when I went inside there, I found the interviews had not started because they were waiting for me.
Wow.
And one thing I said, God, this is mine. How could they wait for me? So we started the interviews. We were done. We did everything. There were practicals, there was theory, so many things. But these people I'm doing the interview with, my age mates, you know, they were looking at me, and I remember one guy from Eldoret said, mi sitawahi kuwa mkia. I'll never be the last one as long as this lady is here. If she comes, at least I have somebody to be uko nyuma.
Right.
But I know I was small-bodied person, so I was fearing them somehow. But you know, I had gotten used to Nakuru High because it was a big school with
And
men.
it was mixed, yeah.
Yes. So we were told to go home. But I remember I was so much interested in knowing because now I had already tasted, you know, the overhauling of engines, but I was not taught so many things intensively. So when I went back. I mean, after we finished, we were told to go back. We will communicate. I waited for everybody to leave, and then I went back to the boardroom. Have I gotten it? They all laughed. And then they told me, you go, we will communicate. 3 weeks again down the line, I was admitted.
Were you the only girl?
I was the only girl and the first lady in that institution. If you go there today, they will tell you we have a girl.
What was the name of the institution?
DTW Technical Training Institute. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Congratulations on being a pioneer female mechanic.
Yes, thank you.
And so you were taken in, and so take us through the journey of you joined. How was that like, different from your high school environment where you were already learning automotive? And so take us from there and how you joined the workforce, and basically just tell us your story.
So, you know, when you're young, you easily adapt. But when you're grown up, you know, like youthful years, you are a bit tough, you are a bit hard, you're a bit rough. So, pale, I'm the only girl They are first years, second years, and third years. Life was not very easy. And then the ladies, like mothers whom I could meet with in this while I'm wearing overalls, they would really mock me. They would really say bad things. You know, how can this woman dress in an overall? How can they take a girl to become a mechanic? Will she be able to lie under the vehicle? There was a lot of stereotyping. But I don't know, something was pushing me to do. Imagine there was a madman who used to wait lunch hour at the gate.
A real madman.
Hey, and he would look at me and laugh and then go. So I went through the training. The management was very good, supportive kabisa. But when I realized things are not going to work the way I thought, because now, having come from a mixed school, I thought even here it will be okay, smooth sailing. I realized it cannot be the same. So I made sure there were two guys we did interview the same day with. I made sure they are my friends. So every time I'm going for it, because every person, even men on the road as we walked for meals, they would really scold me, they would really tell me bad things, they would really discourage me. So I made sure I'm in between these two guys.
So you feel
secure?
secure?
Yes, we go for lunch, come back, we continue learning. Home, when I'm going home, they take me up to town. Nikisha board matatu, then they would go. They became too close to me.
And that's amazing to have people that you worked with from the interview to that journey now of training. So how did that make you feel when you feel even women, unfortunately women, sometimes can be our worst enemies. So imagine women talking bad about you because they've seen you wearing this. How can she wear this? Those days I'm imagining are the days that it was unheard of for a woman in Africa to wear pants.
Completely.
Now, and how did that make you feel? And even for those old mzes to talk and scold you and stuff, how did that make you feel? What did that do to your self-esteem? Were you affected?
Let me tell you, Rosemary, it really encouraged me because I said, I'm going to show you that I'm really determined. One thing, if you are doing these courses, you must be determined. Focused. You must be ready for this. You know, it's not an easy training.
Yes.
You must be ready for it.
Okay,
now you want it. Not that you have been told to do it. Because when I was going to college, my dad was very mad with me. He even told me, I don't want to see you here. Mechanica. You know that name.
Yes.
But
Mechanica
I was very lucky. My sister was there.
At least you were supportive.
Yeah. So as time went, you know, when you scold me, when you tell me those things, you encourage me. I want to prove to you what you are saying is not true.
And that is resilience. Resilience, which is
exactly.
really what you need, especially if you're going against the grain.
Yes.
You know, you're really going against the grain. Those were like what, in the 80s? I'm imagining.
80s.
Yes, in the 80s.
Yes,
you're really going against the grain.
It was like an insult to our cultural things.
Yes, and especially the man. And
you know, they also men were also feeling like you are intruding. So I would not be comfortable at all. But you know, I was determined.
So that determination is what carried you. And then, of course, these friends that would always cheer you. Are you still in touch with them?
Yes.
Are they still in the same?
Yes. Yes. Doing very well.
That's amazing to imagine. You know, when you feel determined, there's a quote by Helen Keller. It says, "One cannot consent to creep when one feels compelled to soar." So you're trying to soar, but these people want you to remain here and just creep. But you feel very compelled. So you followed your compelling, you followed your determination, and you really embraced your resilience. And that's what brought you to where you are today. You know, when I think back, for me, when I was when I joined the IT industry, unlike you, I did not go to an institution. I learned mine in the streets.
Wow.
So I learned some street skills, and all I needed was a screwdriver, especially the star screwdriver. This and the skills that I had here from the streets of River Road and Luthuli made me a threat in the IT industry.
I'm telling you.
Among the men, because it was predominantly just like mechanical. You see, they're both engineering fields, and it was predominantly male dominated. So, and then I was very young. I'm young and running around with screwdrivers. And the next thing I have a little sports car and I'm cruising all over, and they're like, who's that girl running with that car?
Mhm.
And she's taking all our
It's
customers.
interest.
So men who had seen me grow
That's
were threatened.
exactly.
And then they would say, what are you doing taking all our customers? And I'm not taking any customers away from you.
Mm.
It's a willing buyer,
Willing
willing
seller.
seller. And
Exactly.
so I did that.
Mhm.
And that one screwdriver,
Mhm.
to this day,
Mm.
I still have it, but it's somewhere locked up in my stuff. I still have that screwdriver and one CD that made me money and made me like a name to reckon with in the IT industry. And I bet you even you edited Obi during the time. You're a name that most guys that met there have never forgotten. They probably still
They've
talk
never.
about you to
I'm
this day.
telling you, even if I put on like those images we used to take then,
Yes,
somebody will spot me.
they will spot you.
Yes.
And you were a little body, and I
Very
can imagine
small.
now that, and you being a girl and whatever. Did you, as you were going through the program, it was a 3-year program, right? Did you have any other girls enroll in the school?
Yeah.
And so did you
Later
become
on,
like
I
a,
introduced one.
so you did
I
introduce them?
talked to her. I told her, come, I'll show you where the college is.
Mm-hmm.
She joined, and I was with her
Mm-hmm.
in Nakuru High School.
Is she still in the
Yeah,
school?
she's with me. In fact, we are mechanics at Makandara together. We
That
work
is-
together.
That is
And there are
so,
many more who followed.
that is so
But
commendable.
let me tell you, Rosemary, even when I went to our head office is where there are so many people and the main workshops are there, you find everybody, like somebody can call, Ebu kuja uone kale kasichana. Like me, I'm not a normal human being, but I was between these two guys. So after that, I went through the training, and when I finished, I was employed by the same organization. And you know what? One day I was walking across the workshop. I was going to the stores to pick some spares. An old man called me, kuja hapa msichana. And then I went. You know, I was still a bit naive. I went. He told me na Kiswahili. It was from Coast. Wewe msichana, unajua umekosea njia. Then I thought I've crossed through the workshop, so I'm supposed to follow the road because there are roads in the workshop. Then I did like, kwa nini? You know what he told me? Wewe ukiletwa na kijana yangu kwangu, ati anataka kukuoa, nitakushika mkono nikurudishie mama yako. You know, such an insult. But you know,
what was your response to that?
I just looked at him, I smiled.
Because also his age.
Yeah, he was an old man, my father's age. And I walked, picked the spare parts, and I continued with my work. And you know what? When the whole workshop was being paid bonus, I would be between 1 and 5. I would earn good money. So I said, well, you continue thinking nimekosea njia, but here I am making my money and being promoted because I never remained as a mechanic.
You refused to creep.
Yeah, no way. You know, you work hard, you prove yourself, and then Student is a good organization.
It is, and that's you've worked on Mercedes.
Oh my!
Let me tell you, the biggest brand that anybody would want to.
600 limousine. Oh, I've worked on it.
You know, it's in and out.
I know it.
Wow.
Gone on road tests to Manamanga and back. You know, so even me, I've sat on that car. I'm a president in making. Hey, because
you don't have to own it,
yes,
but you can live that
all
life.
These escort Mercedes, you worked on them, bomwad kila kitu.
You've lived that life. You've sat on that. You've driven that. You've enjoyed that luxury at the expense of somebody else because you opened up your umbrella up here, right?
Yes.
I always tell people it's you know, our minds are like a parachute. It's only going to work when you open it.
Yes.
If you're closed to the cultural standards, like I like to say, to the standards of the world, the standards of the society, cultural standards and everything, you close in on that. You know, you will never expand. You know, you'll never leave your village. You'll be told, oh, if you go and live with those people, they eat people. So you'll never move primitivity and your primitive village and stuff. Oh, you know, if you do this, you'll never find a husband. So
that is what I was told.
You, are you thriving for just marriage, even if you will end up being poor? Or are you thriving for success? And you men out there, are you looking for a woman, just a woman that can cook for you? Or are you looking for a woman that you can make a great life together? Because for me, you would be one woman that any real man that wants success, that wants growth in the family, would be looking for. Somebody that will help them build an empire together, not somebody that just becomes a dependent and a servant.
I had a father-in-law who was very, very shy. And that guy loved me, and people didn't loved me because he would come to Diti visit me, and he was a CEO. He would come all the way in the evening and come to visit me, hug me.
Wow.
You know,
A
the
father-in-law.
Kenyans would look at me and say, "Oh, the African in them."
Right. A
He was
father-in-law would hug
appreciating
you.
what I
Yeah.
was doing very much,
Different.
and encouraging me.
Being proud of his daughter. And that's what I think more parents should embrace. But we won't get to this if we don't embrace the TVET program in our country.
Exactly. If
You
we
know,
allow our girls to do this, if we
yes.
allow our sons to do this, our country will grow.
And I'm so proud of the few young ones that we've been managed to put in the program this year because, like some of the girls, they are looking for design, interior design. They're looking for this. They're looking, well, they're very mediocre. I mean, nothing against that, but very
hairdressing.
Yeah, things that are just for girls. Like, we should help our young people, encourage them to open and expand their imaginations. Albert Einstein said that imagination is everything. If you can imagine it and you're willing to take the risk and go for it, you can become it, right? So imagine those girls that were thinking, oh, me, I just want to do this catering. I want to do this. There are some things that you can even teach yourself from the internet.
Exactly.
But there's some technical skills that you must go to school and you must show a certification before any company or any reliable organization can hire you to work on their cars. What do you have to say to like parents of especially now we will talk about just parents of young people because right now we're living in a time it's like there's a career crisis in our country and in our region because I have friends in Uganda, I have friends in Tanzania, I have friends in Rwanda, and it's like there's a career crisis. Young people, there are so many graduating from high school, graduating from university, and there's so many universities these days, unlike back in the days. But now, because the universities cannot absorb all the students that qualify, there is a shortage of universities and influx of TVETs, but people have a very negative attitude towards that. What do you have to say to parents? Look at the camera and speak to a parent of a young person that could benefit from TVET program. What are the benefits? What does TVET have to offer? And why is it advisable for a young person to get there, to join a TVET program today?
There's something very important I want to tell our parents. Don't look at your son or your daughter because he got an E. You imagine that is the end of that boy. That boy is very bright. That boy is very clever. There's something else that he can do. We are blessed differently. So I'm telling a parent who is out there, please allow your kid to join TVET colleges. One thing with TVET colleges, we will never say you got an E because an E is a grade. It is an excellent grade because you can do woodwork. You can do any TVET course. There are so many courses in TVET. And what I would like to say is also don't say your daughters cannot do these dirty jobs. There is no dirty job. When you come out of your office where you swing on the seat, do you wash your hands before you eat? You do. So even us, when we are out of our workshops or wherever we are working, we wash our hands just the same way you did. I would also like to tell our parents that let your kid choose what he or she wants to do because she knows what she desires, what is driving her to do that. Don't tell your kid, I want you to be a doctor. And I'm not saying to be a doctor is wrong. Let your kid tell you, Mommy, Daddy, I want to do this. And then you can listen and advise that kid. Let me say this, TVET courses are very, very marketable. And TVET courses, even you can self-employ yourself, self-employ. Because it's not always that you go and get a job. You don't, sometimes you're asked for experience, 3 years, 2 years, and you've just left college. But since you have been trained, you are certified by the government of Kenya. That means you've been trained fully. You will be able to start your own garage. You'll be able to start your own workshop for wiring. You start doing wiring for people. There are so many people constructing buildings. Those people who construct buildings are people who have been trained by these technical institutes. Some are engineers from university. I'm not saying university is bad, but don't shut down your kid like, stay here, you are thick. Nobody is thick. So those who do wiring on the houses, they also do it. They are trained in TVET institutions. So I think TVET has a wide variety of courses which our youths can take up instead of staying in the villages, in towns, doing nothing, complaining. There are no jobs. Jobs are there. It's only that you have not been. It has not been brought to your attention that even TVET courses are jobs. I think the last 2-3 days we have witnessed those other countries coming to borrow or to hire our youths. Why? Because they have been trained. And which ones were being picked? The ones who have been trained by TVET colleges. So usijichukue rahisi ati ulianguka huko anguka. You can do something else and do it better than even being in class. Okay, parents? Please allow your girls to put on this suit. It's the best suit in a girl. She'll be marketable. I'm so marketable the way I am.
Good. And thank you so much. And you know, it makes you unique when you stand out from the rest. If you just do the thing that everybody does, like for example, if it's a boy, all they can do, if all the boys just become, you know, computer technicians, it becomes flooded until a girl emerges out of that field, and a girl is holding a screwdriver and running around just with like these boys and competing with them. Every client wants that girl to work on the computer.
I can tell you.
And that's I say that from experience, because I remember when I went into IT, it was about that girl. Some people didn't even know my name. They just knew that girl that's running around here, and she's taking up everyone's clients. And there was nothing fishy about it. But I got a lot of clients, a lot of big companies. The confidence that you come in with, and you don't care that this field you've always heard that is cut out for boys or it's cut out for this. You look beyond the barrier, right? We must even help our young people, our teenagers, our kids from the time they are kids. Like Esther, Rhoda is saying, let's allow our kids to dream for themselves. And let's support them on their dream path until, you know, for example, I want to become this. Ask them why. If they can answer the why, then help them figure out the how, and they will become. And that becomes very unique because you help your child to own their future. You help your child to own their career. And like she said, they don't have to all be going to, we can all have our children going to school just so they come out to be employed. Who will employ them if we're not creating the jobs?
Exactly.
Let's empower young people to create employment for themselves, and as they continue to grow, for others. And let's empower our young people to dream beyond their gender, period. They must learn to dream beyond their gender. They must learn to dream beyond their high school grade. They must learn to dream beyond their family background. They must learn to dream for themselves. Anything you can imagine, you can become. I believe that.
And let me tell you something, Rosemary. Before my dad passed, he was very proud of me. Very proud of me.
Yeah.
He would tell people, Mulisema, she's a mechanic. She's an engineer.
Yes,
he was very proud.
It's like the way someone is in catering and they're chef and they're called, they are cooks. They are not cooks. There's a difference between a cook and a chef.
Yes, exactly.
Anybody can cook. Anybody can cook. But a chef can really prepare a meal. And that's where there are competitions. Have you ever heard of cooks who go for competition? In fact, we need to. On the next segment, we need to bring some of the students that we put through TVET.
Yes.
They can come and share their own experiences.
Yes.
You know, some people may be thinking, those are old.
Just
see, they hear the one.
No, but in this courses, even you can bear me witness. You upgrade. You don't just sit down.
Yes, it's progressive.
Upgrade. Yeah.
And it's called professional continuing education.
Exactly.
And so I think the next one, we will bring the young people that are in TVET or have gone through TVET, and then they can speak now to their younger generation, because they're younger and they're closer in age. Then they can convince them. And it's not that anybody is being forced to that. We're actually sharing this platform on this information on this platform so that we can liberate people that are bound by those social limitations of gender, of grades, of their family background and everything. But we cannot limit ourselves. If God created you, He gave you a mind, He gave you a life, He gave you hands, He gave you a brain, He gave you eyes. You can become anything you can dream about, right?
Yes, exactly.
But we can also limit ourselves. There are some who have limited themselves because they've decided to agree with the social limitations that are really designed and perpetrated by people who cannot see beyond the cultural limitations, the social limitations. So the next session that we will be having, like we said, we will try as much as we can when schools are closed or just before kids go back to college and host a few of the TVET students or those who have graduated, and then they can tell us how the experiences have been, and then we'll see whether anything has changed from then to now.
Yes.
If anything, this is the right time for them to join.
This is the
And
right
the
time.
parents of the CBC children, parents embrace that. That's where TVET really starts.
Yes.
It starts at CBC.
You are taught how
It's
to
practical, hands-on skills. And when you can work with your hands and your mind, the sky is not even the limit.
It is not.
So thank you so much for being with us. I thank you so much for coming to
Thank
share
you,
your
Ashley.
experience and your journey with us. And I know we will continue to share more of this as you continue to inspire more parents, more students, and especially girls and women